The doors of the Galactic station slid open with a soft hiss. A human stepped in. His name was Ryan Cole, a new officer from Earth, here to join the Galactic Peace Force. The huge spaceport was full of noise, different species speaking in many voices. Some were tall and thin with glowing eyes. Others floated above the ground. But when they saw the human, they all stopped talking. One by one, heads turned. Silence fell like a blanket. Then, red lights flashed above Ryan. A loud voice came from the speakers. Warning, human detected, full weapon scan initiated. All weapons prohibited for species, human. The lights scanned his body. A green light finally blinked. No weapon found. Still, nobody moved. Their eyes stayed on him. Some looked afraid, others angry. Ryan gave a confused smile. He had done nothing wrong. He walked to the check-in desk. The officer there was a lizard-like alien. Its hands shook as it handed Ryan a data pad. "You're clear to enter," it said, avoiding eye contact. "But keep your hands where everyone can see." Ryan raised an eyebrow. "Why? I don't have a weapon." "That's not the point," the officer said and looked away. As Ryan walked into the main hall, whispers followed him. "Why is a human here? Isn't that dangerous? They banned weapons for a reason." He tried to ignore it. He had heard stories about aliens being nervous around humans, but this was more than that. It felt like fear. He passed a group of guards from a reptilian race called the Giracs. Each one had a laser rifle. One even had a plasma cannon on his back. Ryan stopped and asked the nearest guard, "You're allowed to carry that here?" The guard laughed. "Of course, I'm security." "And humans?" The smile dropped. "You? No. Law says no weapons for humans. Ever. Not even a knife." "Why?" Ryan asked, but the guard just walked away. Later, Ryan went to the canteen. He sat with a few officers from different planets. One of them, a blue-skinned medic named Thierry, looked at him carefully. "You're from Earth?" she asked. "Yes," Ryan said. "Is that a problem?" She shook her head. "Not a problem. Just strange. Most humans don't come this far." Ryan leaned in. "Tell me something. Why are we the only ones banned from carrying weapons? Everyone else can." The table went quiet. One officer stood and left. Another pretended to check their communicator. Thierry sighed. "You don't know?" "No," Ryan said. "Nobody will tell me. Maybe they want to protect you," she said softly. Ryan laughed. "From what? I'm not the one with the gun." She looked around and leaned closer. "There was a time, many cycles ago, when humans were different. They fought in a war. Not like others. They didn't just win. They terrified everyone." "What kind of war?" Ryan asked. "I don't know the full story," Thierry whispered, "but it was bad. Whole fleets destroyed, enemy mines broken. After that, the council made a rule. No human shall ever carry a weapon again." "But that was years ago," Ryan said. "We're peaceful now." "Maybe," Thierry said. "But the galaxy remembers, and the council doesn't forget." That night, Ryan couldn't sleep. He opened his datapad and searched the galactic history files. He typed in human weapon ban. Nothing came up. He tried human war records. Access denied. He tried deeper channels. All blocked. He even found a news article from a century ago, but it was mostly blacked out. The only readable line said, "To prevent further fear and destruction, the ban must remain." What did they mean by fear? The next day, he met with his commander, a tall alien with 4 arms and skin like glass. "Sir," Ryan said, "why can't humans carry weapons?" The commander looked at him for a long time. "Because when you hold a weapon, it's not just a tool. With humans, it becomes something else. Something worse." "That doesn't make sense," Ryan said. "Exactly," the commander replied. "That's the problem." Ryan left the room more confused than ever. As he walked down the hallway, he passed a group of alien children on a school tour. One saw him, screamed, and hid behind her teacher. The teacher's eyes went wide. "It's just a human," she said, trying to calm the child. Ryan didn't feel dangerous. He didn't feel like a monster. But everyone looked at him like he was one. Later, as he sat alone, an old alien janitor passed by. The old one stopped, leaned on his broom, and said, "They fear you, boy." Ryan looked up. "Why?" The janitor's eyes were tired. "Because they remember. Maybe not in words, but in the deep part of their minds. They remember what humans did when they were angry." Ryan stood still. "What did we do?" The janitor smiled sadly. "That's the part no one dares speak of." Then he walked away, leaving Ryan with more questions than answers. Ryan couldn't stop thinking about what the old janitor said. They remember what humans did when they were angry. The words echoed in his mind. No one gave him clear answers. Everyone avoided the topic. Even friendly aliens like Tiri wouldn't speak more. It was like there was a wall around the truth, and he was getting too close to it. He decided to search deeper. One night, Ryan connected his datapad to the Galactic station's main archive. It was restricted, but he had training in systems access. He used a hidden backdoor code given to all Peace Force officers, in case of emergencies. He told himself this was an emergency. He had to know why the galaxy feared humans. He typed in the words again. Human weapon ban. As before, nothing useful came up. So he searched older records, war archives, battlefield reports, and then something strange appeared, a file marked Class X Restricted Silence War Records. The file was locked. Ryan tried to open it, and surprisingly, it asked for a very old access code, one that hadn't been used in decades. He entered a guess, based on Earth's old military patterns. The file opened. A video appeared. The screen was dark at first, then static, then a shaky image of a battlefield. Smoke, fire, screams. The camera moved behind a group of soldiers. Not aliens. Humans. They were dressed in strange armor, light but powerful. Their faces were hard, cold, focused. They weren't shooting. They had no guns, no swords, just something on their backs that looked like scanners. In front of them was a wall of machines, enemy robots armed and dangerous. The robots began firing. The humans didn't run. They stood still. One of them stepped forward and raised a hand. The robots suddenly froze. Then, without warning, turned and started shooting each other. The video ended there. The screen turned black. A message appeared in red. Do not awaken the sleepers. Let them remain in silence. Ryan sat frozen. What had he just seen? Humans, unarmed, turning enemy machines against themselves. Was this real? Was it some kind of old science experiment? He tried to replay the video, but it had already deleted itself. The file was gone, locked forever. Ryan only had his memory now. He stared at the black screen, confused and disturbed. The next day, he met Tiri in the corridor. He asked her, "Do you know what the Silence War was?" Her face turned pale. "Where did you hear that name?" "I found it in the archives." "You shouldn't be looking there," she said in a low voice. "That war, it was erased for a reason." "What happened?" Ryan asked. Tiri looked around to make sure no one was listening. Then she whispered, "I don't know everything. No one does, but there are stories from very old aliens. They say the Silence War wasn't like other wars. It wasn't about planets or resources. It was about fear." "Fear of what?" "Fear of you," she said. "Fear of humans." Ryan didn't understand. "But we didn't use weapons. I saw it in the video. The humans were just standing there." Tiri nodded slowly. "Exactly. And that's what made it worse." Later that evening, Ryan went to the lower levels of the station. There was an old alien there named Verak, who had fought in many wars. Some said he was over 300 years old. Ryan found him sitting near a window watching the stars. "You were in the Silence War, weren't you?" Ryan asked. Verak didn't turn. He kept watching the stars. "I was," he said. I saw what no one should see. What happened? Ryan asked gently. Virak finally looked at him. His eyes were full of memory. We fought the humans, not many of them. Just one unit, 6 people, no guns, no ships, just mines. Mines? They didn't need weapons. They used something else. Something inside, something terrifying. They made us turn on each other. We didn't know who to trust. Our leaders went mad. Our computers shut down. Our own machines attacked us, and the humans, they just walked forward. Ryan was silent. Virak continued. After that, the council made a choice. Not to punish Earth, but to keep peace. They made the rule. No human shall ever carry a weapon. Because a human with a weapon is not just dangerous. They're unstoppable. But it was just one unit, Ryan said. Virak nodded. Yes. And they ended a war by standing still. Ryan walked away in silence. He had come to the station thinking he was just a normal officer from Earth. But now, he wasn't sure what he was, anymore. Or what humans really were in the eyes of the galaxy. Everyone remembered the Silence War, but no one would speak of it. Ryan was not the same after what Virak told him. The story of 6 unarmed humans breaking an entire army without firing a shot. How could that be real? It sounded like a myth. But the fear in Virak's eyes was real. The whispers in the station were real. Something had happened in the past, and the galaxy still remembered it. They just refused to speak about it. Back in his quarters, Ryan couldn't sleep. He searched again, this time using the term Whisper War. The name had come up before when Virak mentioned older stories, deeper ones too dangerous to record. He found only a few mentions, all buried in strange places. Damaged files, old interviews, broken documents. No full report, just short lines like, subject refused to speak, said only, they came and then silence. Whispers were everywhere. We couldn't tell what was real. One human walked in. None of us walked out. Ryan sat back. The Silence War had records. The Whisper War barely had rumors. He decided to visit the restricted zone of the station, where historical records were kept in cold archives. He used a fake maintenance request to enter. The room was quiet and cold. The lights flickered. Shelves lined the walls, full of old data chips and forgotten files. After hours of searching, he found a single old recording. It was short, just under 2 minutes. He played it. The screen showed a dark hallway. The footage came from a helmet camera. Soldiers were moving through a bunker. Their breathing was fast. One whispered, "They're here." "Who?" asked another voice. "The humans," the first voice replied. Suddenly, the sound of laughter echoed in the distance. But it wasn't from any of the soldiers. It was too calm, too quiet. Then the screen went black. The file ended with 3 words in red. "We surrendered instantly." Ryan stared at the screen. What kind of war made trained soldiers give up without a fight? The next day, Ryan met Thierry again in the canteen. She looked tired, like she hadn't slept either. When he mentioned the Whisper War, she dropped her fork. "You're still digging?" she asked. "I need to know the truth," Ryan said. "Why does the galaxy fear us? Why ban weapons just for humans?" Thierry leaned in close. "There's a reason they call it the Whisper War. No one talks about it, not because they can't, but because they're afraid to." "Afraid of what?" She paused. "Afraid it might happen again." Ryan didn't understand. "But what happened?" Thierry looked around and lowered her voice. "The story goes like this. One alien empire tried to control Earth. It didn't go well. So they attacked. But humans didn't respond with fleets or bombs. They sent in people, no guns, just humans trained to fight a different way." "What way?" "With fear," she said. "With silence, with tricks, with their minds. They knew how to break an enemy without touching them. Some call it psychological warfare, others call it something worse." Ryan felt cold. "You mean they scared them into surrender?" Thierry nodded. "Yes. Some say the enemy leaders went insane. Some say their ships stopped working after the humans arrived. The whispers started. False messages, lies, fears. Soldiers thought their friends were enemies. They turned on each other, and the humans, they just watched. That's impossible, Ryan said. No one can do that. Thierry looked at him. Humans did. Later that night, Ryan found himself in the training room. He stared at his reflection. Was there something in him the galaxy feared? He was just a man. He had no weapons, no powers. But people still looked at him like he was dangerous. A voice came from behind him. They fear your nature. Ryan turned. It was the old janitor again, the one who had first warned him. What do you mean? Ryan asked. The old alien stepped forward. Other species evolved in peace or with rules, but not humans. Your planet, it shaped you in chaos, fire, ice, war, hunger, pain. Earth made humans survivors. That survival taught you to fight with more than weapons. But that's the past, Ryan said. We're peaceful now. The janitor nodded. Yes, but the memory remains. The galaxy made a rule to ban your weapons. But not because of the weapons, because they remember a time when humans fought without them. And still won. Ryan said nothing. He felt like a shadow had fallen over him. The more he learned, the more he realized he didn't know who his people really were. As he left the training room, he saw a poster on the wall, an old galactic law signed by many species. It had only one clear line written in bold: no human shall carry a weapon, because they don't need one. Ryan stared at it for a long time. The mystery was deeper than he thought, and the whispers were only growing louder. Ryan couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the whispers, the fear in Thierry's voice, the look on Verac's face, the old poster with the warning. No human shall carry a weapon, because they don't need one. It haunted him. He walked through the quiet halls of the Galactic station at night. Lights were dim. Most officers were asleep. But Ryan needed answers, not guesses, not old stories. He needed someone who had seen the truth. He went to the deep medical sector, where the long-term patients stayed. Thierry had told him once, in passing, that a single soldier from the Whisper War still lived. Barely. His mind was broken, but his body remained. Room 12B. That was where they kept him. Ryan stood outside the door, nervous. He opened it slowly. Inside, a tall, thin alien sat in a chair, facing the wall. The room was quiet. No machines, no windows, just silence. The alien was once a general. His file said his name was Kravex of the Vern Empire. Now he didn't speak. He hadn't spoken in 50 years. Ryan stepped forward. General Kravex? He said softly. No answer. I just want to know. What happened? What did you see? Nothing. Then Ryan said the words. The Whisper War. The alien twitched. Slowly, his head turned. His eyes were wide, afraid. He looked straight at Ryan and whispered his first word in decades. You. Ryan froze. What do you mean? You, Kravex said again, louder this time. It was you. It's always you. Ryan stepped back. I wasn't even born then. Not you, Kravex said, voice shaking. You're kind. The eyes, the walk, the calm before the chaos. He suddenly stood up. They didn't need guns. They looked at us and we dropped ours. They spoke, and our minds broke. Ryan's heart raced. How? Kravex grabbed his head. They made us see things, hear things. They knew what we feared. They became our fear. A nurse ran in and quickly gave Kravex a calming injection. He slumped into the chair again, eyes wide, whispering to himself, Don't let them speak. Don't let them speak. Ryan left the room, shaken. Later, he met with Thierry again. It's not about weapons, he said. It never was. It's about the human mind. She nodded slowly. The Council doesn't fear your tools. They fear your thoughts, your will, your anger. But we don't even know how to do that. Ryan said. Not anymore, Thierry replied. Maybe your kind forgot. Or maybe they hid it. That idea stuck in Ryan's head. What if humans still had that ability? Some ancient instinct, buried deep. Maybe it was still there, sleeping inside him, waiting to wake up. He needed answers. From Earth. He sent a secret message to an old contact, a professor from Earth's defense archives. He asked only one question. What is the mind weapon? The reply came 3 days later. It was a single file. Audio only. The professor spoke, in a cold, quiet voice. We don't call it a weapon, not officially. We call it the trait. Some humans have it. Some don't. But long ago, all did. It's a natural part of what we were, back when Earth was still a death world. High danger, high evolution. The trait let us feel fear, but also turn it into action, into control, into dominance. Some say, it's not psychic, not magic, just perfect instinct. In war, those who had the trait could read the enemy, break them, trick them, defeat them without a weapon. It was banned, hidden, buried, but it never disappeared. If you feel the walls closing around you, if they fear you without knowing why, you may have it. Ryan stared at the file, in silence. He remembered all the times aliens had stared at him, the silence when he entered a room, the fear in their eyes. Even without trying, they felt something, some old instinct warning them. Danger. That night, Ryan stood in the observation deck looking out into space. He focused on a passing guard below. He didn't say anything. He just stared. The guard stopped, turned, looked around, confused, then quickly walked away, uncomfortable. Ryan blinked. Did I just do that? The next morning, the council called him in. A private meeting. The room was dark. Powerful leaders of many species sat at a long table. You've been asking dangerous questions, one said. I just want to know the truth, Ryan replied. A counselor leaned forward. Then hear this. You are not allowed to carry weapons. Not because we think you'll hurt us, but because we know you don't need them to do it. Ryan stayed silent. You carry the most dangerous weapon of all, another counselor said, and it is your mind. The council meeting changed everything. After that day, Ryan was watched. Everywhere he went, eyes followed him. Guards stood a little straighter. Officers stopped talking when he passed. Even some of his friends, like Thierry, became quiet, nervous. They all knew now. Ryan wasn't just a human. He was something more, a possible threat. The days that followed were tense. Rumors spread across the station. Some said he had broken into forbidden files. Others said he had used the trait on officers. One rumor even said Ryan made a guard forget his own name for 10 minutes. None of it was true. But Ryan could feel something inside him. Changing. He felt aware. When someone lied, he could sense it. When someone was scared, he knew. And when someone hated him, he could feel their thoughts pressing toward him like a wave. Then the trigger came. It started as a small incident. An alien officer accused Ryan of hacking the archives again. It wasn't true. Ryan hadn't touched the system in days. But the accusation spread quickly. The officer, a tall, red-skinned creature named Velak, made a public report. Ryan was called into a hearing. The room was full of officers from many species. They treated him like a criminal. No one asked for proof. No one cared to hear his side. He stood there, surrounded by silence and stares. Velak stepped forward. This human thinks he's special, thinks he's above the law, but he's dangerous. He shouldn't be here. Ryan clenched his fists. Another officer said, the weapon ban is not enough. We need to remove him from the station. Someone else added, or lock him in isolation. The room filled with voices, angry, afraid. Then, everything went quiet. Ryan didn't speak. He didn't shout. He just stood still, and everyone stopped. One by one, their voices fell silent. Some officers looked confused. Some looked scared. A few backed away without even knowing why. Ryan looked at Valak, and Valak froze. His face turned pale. He tried to speak, but his voice shook. What? What are you doing? I'm not doing anything, Ryan said calmly. But something was happening. The air felt heavier, like gravity itself had grown stronger. The lights dimmed slightly. A soft hum filled the room. No one could explain it later. No machines were damaged. No devices overloaded. It was all in their minds. Ryan looked around. He didn't feel angry, just focused, clear, like his thoughts were sharper than ever before. The lead officer, an old blue-skinned alien, stood up. Ryan, stop, please. Ryan blinked, and the feeling disappeared. The air felt normal again. Everyone took deep breaths. Some sat down quickly, as if their legs were shaking. Ryan stepped back. I didn't mean to do that. The lead officer said, You don't understand. That's exactly why the ban exists. You're a weapon even when you don't want to be. That night, Ryan was confined to his quarters. Not arrested, but not free either. A silent warning. Thierry visited him. She looked scared, but also sad. You felt it, didn't you? She asked. He nodded. It was like, I didn't try. I just was. That's what the trait is, she said softly. It's not a weapon you hold. It's something you become. Something ancient. Something the galaxy still fears. But I didn't hurt anyone. Not yet, she said. There was a long pause. Then she whispered, They're talking about sending you back to Earth, or somewhere farther. Ryan looked at her. Because I stood still and they got scared? Thierry didn't answer. The next morning, a message came from Earth. It was short. Do not resist. We are sending a ship. You are to return home. But something felt wrong. The message had no code. No official seal. Ryan had seen enough fakes to know the truth. It wasn't from Earth. Someone wanted to take him. He opened a private message to Thierry. It's starting. They're coming for me. And I don't think they want peace. Thierry responded with just 2 words. Run now. Ryan moved fast. Thierry's message was clear. Run now. He packed nothing. There was no time. Alarms hadn't started yet, but he knew they would soon. Whoever sent that fake recall message wasn't planning a quiet exit. They were coming to capture him. Not question him. Not talk. Just take him. As he stepped into the hall, the lights changed to red. Sirens echoed. A robotic voice spoke across the station. Human subject Ryan Walker is to be detained immediately. All personnel must assist. Ryan didn't stop. He kept walking, then started running. Doors locked behind him. Guards appeared, at corners. But somehow, they hesitated. When they saw him, some lowered their weapons. Others stepped back. One even dropped his communicator and ran. It wasn't Ryan's face they feared. It was something else. Something ancient. Ryan reached a side tunnel. Thierry met him there, holding a stolen access card. They're moving fast, she said, panting. Council wants you off the station, but not alive. Ryan stared at her. Why help me? Thierry hesitated. Because I think they're wrong. I've read the reports. What they call danger might just be power. The kind this galaxy buried because it couldn't control it. She handed him the card. Maintenance tunnel. Leads to Dock Bay 4. There's a scout ship. I disabled the lock. Ryan nodded. Come with me. Thierry looked away. I can't, not yet, but I'll cover your escape. As Ryan vanished into the tunnel, Thierry turned and walked toward the guards. She lied to them. She led them the wrong way, bought him minutes. That was all he needed. Inside the tunnels, Ryan moved silently. Steam hissed from pipes. Lights flickered. He heard voices through the walls. Guards searching, shouting. But he stayed low, fast, focused. Then he reached the docking bay. Just one guard stood at the door. Ryan stepped into view. The guard raised his weapon. then paused. They locked eyes. Ryan didn't speak. He didn't need to. The guard slowly lowered the weapon, fingers shaking. Ryan walked past without a word. Inside the bay, the scout ship sat ready. Small, fast, perfect for escape. Ryan climbed in, activated the engines and broke through the launch shield. Behind him, alarms screamed. Fighters scrambled, but they were too slow. Ryan was already gone into deep space. As the stars blurred around him, Ryan sat back in the pilot seat. His heart pounded, but his mind was sharp, focused. He opened a secret line to Earth. This time, the real one. A man answered. Old gray beard, military eyes. You activated the trait? The man said, voice calm. Ryan nodded. They came for me. They always do, the man replied. You need to come home. There's more you need to learn. What am I? Ryan asked. The man leaned closer to the camera. You're not a weapon, Ryan. You're what comes after weapons fail. You're a reminder, a warning. Ryan swallowed hard. They were scared of me, even when I did nothing. They remember, the man said. Even if you don't. Remember what? That once, the man said. The galaxy thought it could tame humanity, that it could take your weapons, your ships, your power. He paused. But it couldn't take your mind. Ryan sat in silence. Outside the window, the stars kept moving. Silent. Endless. Then the man said, They feared us at our strongest, but now they're terrified of us at our calmest, because that's when we're thinking, that's when we're planning. Ryan looked down at his hands. No weapons, no armor, just him. And somehow, that was enough to make empires tremble. As the ship moved toward Earth, Ryan knew the final part of the story was coming. The galaxy had kept its silence long enough. It had tried to bury the truth. But now the truth was flying home. Ryan's ship broke through Earth's atmosphere quietly. No sirens, no fighter escorts, just calm blue skies and an open landing path. It had been years since he left Earth, but everything felt the same. The air, the weight of gravity, the silence. Waiting for him on the landing platform was the same man who spoke to him during his escape. General Marcus Hale, retired commander of Earth's Defense Division. Old, calm, but with eyes that had seen too much. Ryan stepped down. You made it, Hale said. They tried to stop me, Ryan replied. Even tried to fake a recall order. They're scared, Hale said. They've always been scared. Of what? Ryan asked. What exactly are we? Hale looked at the sky, then back at Ryan. You want the truth? Ryan nodded. Hale motioned for him to follow. They entered a secure base deep underground. Thick doors. Old war markings on the walls. Ryan noticed one symbol repeated over and over. A red eye inside a black circle. What is that? He asked. Hale glanced at it. It's the mark of Project Sentinel, a forgotten program, created after the Whisper War, to study people like you. Ryan stopped walking. Like me? Yes. People who didn't need weapons to win battles. People who could walk onto a field, say a few words, and cause enemy lines to collapse. No blood, no fire, just fear. Ryan's voice was low. Mine weapons. Not exactly, Hale said. No one trained you. No one taught you how to do it. It's instinct. A survival trait. A leftover from our time on the Death World. He pointed at a screen. It showed files, names, photos. All human. All marked as unarmed threat level, maximum. Ryan stared. These people, Hale said, never held a gun. But they walked through war zones and came out untouched. Entire squads surrendered without a fight. Machines shut down. Leaders ran. All because they felt something in the presence of a human with the trait. Ryan's heart beat faster. So, why hide it? Why let the galaxy treat us like criminals? Because the trait doesn't follow orders, Hale said. It wakes up in chaos, in fear, in survival. It can't be trained. It can't be controlled. He turned toward Ryan. That's why the Council banned humans from carrying weapons. Not to stop you from attacking, but to make you stay calm, to keep you from being triggered. Because the moment you feel threatened, truly threatened, you become something else. Ryan remembered the hearing, the silence, the air growing heavier, the looks on their faces. They were afraid of what he might become. And if that trait fully wakes up? Ryan asked. Hale didn't blink. Then no army in the galaxy can stop you. Not because you'll kill them, but because they'll stop themselves. Silence filled the room. Then Hale said, "That's why they don't speak about it. Why they erased the Whisper War. Why no one says what really happened. They tried to control us," Ryan said slowly. Hale nodded. "And failed." Ryan looked at the files again. So many names, so many secrets. "I need to go back," he said. Hale raised an eyebrow. "You sure?" "They're already afraid. And now they're desperate. That's when they make the worst decisions." Hale gave a short nod. "Then you'll need this." He handed Ryan a simple case. Ryan opened it. It was empty. "No weapon?" Ryan asked. Hale smiled. "You don't need one." A few days later, Ryan returned to the station. Alone, unarmed. The Council gathered, trying to look calm, but their eyes betrayed them. He stood before them, not as a soldier, not as a criminal, but as a human. "You tried to silence the truth," Ryan said. "You built a galaxy where humans were banned from carrying weapons, but you forgot something important." He stepped closer. No fear in his eyes. "We are the weapon." No one spoke. No one moved. They couldn't, because for the first time in decades, the trait had returned, not as violence, not as war, but as a silent reminder. The galaxy had feared humans at their strongest, but now they would remember why they feared them at their calmest, because when humans are calm, they're thinking. When they're thinking, they're planning. And when they're planning, it's already too late.